Hey guys, it's funny. Sometimes you start some things in life, whether it's a project or a goal, and as you move along, you realize pretty quickly that you have to change what you're doing to get a favorable result. This video is an example of that. This video started off, it was going to be me printing a GoPro Hero 4 case and sharing it with you guys. And when it was all said and done, this has turned into a high-level comparison between two slasher softwares, the Makerbot Desktop software and Simplify3d. Let's see what my results are. Okay guys, I'm going to share next how I came to the conclusion further after I did the GoPro Hero 4 print with Simplify3d on why I think it's the better software, at least for me. I have nothing against the Makerbot software. It's been good software for me, but I think it's time for me to grow and move on and really push my printer into what it really can do. The four comparisons we'll be making will be a time-lapse video between both slashers where you can see just how the same model is printed differently between the two. A dimensional quality test where we'll print a 20mm cube and then measure in X and Y and see how close dimensionally we are to 20mm. Thirdly will be a slasher performance test where we'll take a high polygon model, which is Yoda, off Thingiverse. We'll slice it with each software. We'll see how long it takes to slice it, and then in the last test, we'll actually print that model with each slasher settings and compare the quality differences between each model. In the end, again, I feel like the Simplify3d is the right software for me for a slasher software. For my Makerbot Replicator 2X, you guys may have a different opinion when it's all said and done. Okay guys, this next test will show dimensional accuracy. We printed two 20mm cubes, one slice with Makerbot Desktop software and one slice with Simplify3d, both using the same settings as each other of a 5-wall thickness on shell, both with 50% infill and printed 9mm per second, both with raft. We'll start with the Makerbot Desktop software. Now, I designated on the side here an X for the X-axis. Of the M I drew was after I pulled it out. It looks like a 3. It aggravates me because I should have done it this way, but nevertheless. Now, let's just look at the quality of the print first. Okay. So first of all, the layer heights here look really nice. But down here at the bottom, the first, say 20% of the print, it's got this rough texture deal going on that I can't explain why. But anytime I print something flat like this with flat walls, the first 20% or so has this rough layer. And this is with the Makerbot Desktop software. Also, you notice the wrap material is still attached. And the reason being is it is nearly impossible to remove. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure why. We use the same settings as Simplify3d. Now, don't hold this against Makerbot, guys, because each software is going to determine things differently. So to make this more effective at removal, I would have to tweak the settings for this software individually. So don't hold on this. This is more due to my laziness, not wanting to try to remove it. Again, this video is not so much for the ability to remove raft material easily. It's for dimensional accuracy. So like I said, this is a 20mm cube. Now be patient. My digital calipers were running low on battery, so I may have to hit the reset button on several times. But we'll start in the X-axis of the print, and it's not bad. We get a 20.02mm. And we'll go ahead and do the Y-axis. Now on the Y-axis, we get a 20.11mm. So 0.11 millimeters over. I say anything 0.05 or less is acceptable, but we are over quite a bit on that one. So now here's a Simplify3d model. We'll start with the X-axis. I'm sorry, X-axis this way. Okay, 20.03, 20.02, not bad at all. Let's go to the Y-axis. And we are at 19.95. So it's actually a little smaller than the other model, but this is within what I would consider acceptable. It's within 0.05 millimeters plus or minus. So this is a pretty dimensionally accurate print. For me, this is great when you start designing things for things that fit in within each other. Now let's look at the quality of the print. I kind of jumped into measurement right away. Kind of got excited about that part of it, because really it's what this is more about for me than the surface quality, but both very important. So let's look down at the surface quality of the print. As you can see, we don't have that rough section that we had on the Makerbot Desktop print. Kind of put them side by side so you can compare. Now the first layers are a little, they're not as consistent as the upper layers. I wouldn't say stringy, but they're not as tight together. And that could be due to my settings for raft material. And then we could tweak that to make that better. But just overall surface finish is better with the Simplify3d model. And the raft material removed fairly easy as well. And that's with a 3-layer base height. So overall, guys, the Simplify3d print gave me a more accurate, dimensionally correct print, and this is not compensated with in a in any software for backlash or shrinkage or nothing. This is just a raw print and measuring it and see how close we are with each software. Now, with that being said, and one of the reasons why I want to point this out is I may have mentioned it earlier in the video, but where this all started at was with GoPro case, like I probably mentioned earlier already as well, and the Makerbot desktop software / GoPro cases did not fit the factory GoPro accessories, and it was like it added material between the parts where they hooked up at. Bear with me because I wasn't going to show this in this video right now, but I'll make a little racket. I apologize, but so this is another case I printed off for my GoPro with these Simplify3d software. And with the Makerbot desktop software, it seemed to add material in this area between and made these a little thicker. So when you went to slide it onto a GoPro factory accessory, it actually started making these two prongs split open and cracking the plastic. So not sure why that is or why it came out like that, but as you see, the quality from Simplify3d carries over into this print. Again, very happy with what we have here, guys. Next, we'll look at the performance of the slasher software and slicing Yoda, and then we'll look at the print quality of each model. Okay, guys, in this test, we'll be showing the performance differences between Simplify3d and the Makerbot desktop software. Here we'll be printing Yoda, which is a high polygon 3D model, which will test slicing speed as well as support generation. As far as settings goes, we're going to be using pretty similar settings between both softwares. Extrusion speed will be 90 millimeters per second. The infill will be 15%, and with the Makerbot desktop software, we'll be using a hexagonal pattern. Model properties will be a 0.2 millimeter layer height with the number of shells set at 5. We'll be printing rafts with the base number of 3. And support material will be turned on with a support angle of 45 degrees. Alright guys, here we'll hit the export print file button up here in the corner, and I'll hit the start timer on my phone, and we'll see how long it takes for the slicer to slice Yoda and get us to the next step of the process. Okay guys, so it took about a minute and 1 second to export this file. Now the information we have here shows the print times will be 4 hours and 8 minutes. The amount of filament we'll use for this print will be 51.37 grams. Resolution, like we talked about earlier, is 0.2 millimeter layer height, and raster supports both turned on. You can hit print preview. At this point you'll see where your support material will be laid. And if you want to go down by layer, you can. And see, you can see the infill material. You can see when support material will be printed, where. You can go all down to the raft itself if you wish. Okay guys, now so what comes next in the Makerbot desktop software that is not in Simplify3d is you still have to export it. Now, I'm not sure why they call it export print file here, and then you still have to export it down here. So let's hit export now, and we're going to save the Yoda bus on my computer so I can put it in my SD card and print it later. So we'll hit save, and we'll hit start there. I'm a little behind. Okay guys, so it took a total of 3 minutes and 13 seconds for the Makerbot desktop software to process the slicing files for Yoda. That's from beginning to end. Now, that doesn't sound like a long time, but when you see what happens with Simplify3d, you'll see the difference. Okay, here we are in Simplify3d, where I'm going to show you guys the performance differences and the speed you get out of this slicing software. This software is hands down phenomenal. I like it a lot. It's great. Though it costs you some money, it's worth it in my opinion if you guys be serious about 3D printing. So here we are with Yoda, same model before. As you notice, Yoda looks a lot better in this software. Less jagged, more smooth, more detail. He moves so much easier. Look how fast he moves. Wow. Okay, so anyways, let's go to our process, which is our settings. Our layer height is 0.2 millimeters, as the same as the last. Number of shells is 5. I know it's overkill, guys, but it's my print, so be happy. Infill percentage is 15%, and the infill pattern will be triangular, which is the only difference between the two prints. The Makerbot Desktop print was a hexagonal pattern. The raft material will be exactly the same, 3 layer base height. We'll hit OK. And I'll come down here and hit the prepare to print button and hit the start button on my phone, and we'll see how fast this software really is in generating a file for Yoda. And go. Alright guys, you saw that. It was that fast. 7 seconds to generate the toolpaths, support material, and everything for Yoda. So here we are with Yoda. Let's spin Yoda around. Now I'll say this one thing too, guys. Simplify3d has got their business in order when it comes to support material. Their support material cleans and breaks away so easy compared to the Makerbot support material. Okay, so let's see here. Let's change this to. I'm sorry, we're on feature type. So the gray support material, the blue is the outer perimeter, the pink is the raft, and that darkish, blackish, dark navy blue, purplish line is the brim. So as we see, the print preview is a lot nicer too in Simplify3d than it is in Makerbot Desktop software. And as you go through the layers, you get a lot more detail. As you see the tool head moving around, and you can see the details in the infill. So I like this software a lot, guys. So more or less you say, okay, so now you gotta save it to your toolpath to a disk. And the answer is yes, or you print over USB, but we're gonna save it to a disk. So I hit the save toolpath to disk button, and literally I hit save, and that's it. We are done, guys. Simplify3d is that fast. So here we are. Simplify3d just did Yoda in 7 seconds, whereas Makerbot Desktop software took over 3 minutes to do the exact same thing. So 3 minutes don't sound like a long time, guys, but when you compare it to 7 seconds, it's a world apart. And hopefully here in a little bit, you guys will see the differences in print quality between Simplify3d and the Makerbot Desktop software with similar settings with a similar model on the exact same printer. Okay guys, let's want to wrap this up with these last 2 prints. These are the prints of Yoda that came off of the Makerbot software as well as the Simplify3d slasher software. We'll start with the Makerbot Desktop software first. Yoda. Here he is, guys. We'll go overall quality of the model, and then we'll discuss the support material, and then we'll show you the Simplify3d model, discuss the same things, and then we'll wrap this up. So as you can see, Yoda came out looking pretty good with the Makerbot Desktop software. I've never had a real big issue of printing widgets or little statues, figurines of that matter. Overall, the quality is good. It definitely is good. We could have made it a little better, probably with optimization of the software, tweaking some settings and things of that manner. But as far as the sake of this test, we kept it very general basic so that you guys can see the differences between the two with just basic settings. So the first thing I noticed is the roughness of the model. Now a lot of this has to do with the amount of support material that Makerbot Desktop software said it was needed for this model to print. It was a lot. He has support material on his neck, inside his eyes, inside his ears, underneath his ears, on both sides. And then on the back side here, it was all inside his neck cavity. Now I'm going to show you guys the picture of that, and you can see what I'm talking about here. And this is as it was on the printer. I didn't take it off the printer. I haven't touched it. Now on this model, I ain't trying to remove it yet. Now on the Simplify3d model, You'll notice some of the support material is kind of leaning a little bit. That's because I try to pry it up and then take it out of the printer to take a picture, but unfortunately it just didn't work out, so I decided to stop and take that photo there. So now you'll see there's a lot of support material left on the model, mainly in here, underneath the neck, inside the ear cavities, both sides. Now I tried to use the same amount of time to clean the models up that I did on, just so that they'd be equal in what you get out of them. I actually put more time into this one trying to get it clean, and unfortunately until I got underneath these lights I didn't realize how much I missed. So there's more work to be done on this guy. Overall quality, I would say it's good. Alright guys, here's the Simplify3d Yoda, printed with the same settings as the Makerbot Desktop software Yoda. Again, this is a 0.2mm layer height. Immediately, one thing you should notice is this guy looks a lot more glossy. It's a lot shinier. It's actually a lot smoother to touch. You look at the detailing around the eyes and the cheekbone where the wrinkling is, and it's more pronounced in this print than it was with the Makerbot Desktop print. And you notice there's a lot less support material on this print, and that's mainly due to the fact that the support material it printed with the with the Simplify3d software, it was a lot better. I mean, in fact, the picture I'm going to show you guys will show that some of it's leaning a little sideways. Like I said earlier, I tried to remove this print out of the printer and then take these pictures with better lighting and a better camera, but unfortunately it wouldn't come out so without breaking support material off. But the support material breaks off so clean that underneath his ears on both sides you can't even really tell where it was. Underneath his chin area it's very smooth, very consistent with the rest of the model. Guys, this is a very, very high quality print that we could further optimize, get better detailing, but overall I'm extremely happy. This right here shows you the difference in a quality piece of slicing software and using proper settings could do for you in 3D printing. It could take if you don't have the right slicer or the right settings with your slicer, it could take a $1,000 printer and make it look like a $200 printer. In my case, we take a $2,500 printer and make it look like a $200 printer. So here's both models side by side, guys, and hopefully you can see the difference. It's pretty evident to me that Simplify3d it's breathed new life in my printer. I almost gave up on it, guys, until I found this. I bought it, tried it, and I am overly impressed. And that's the first reason why I want to share this video with you guys, because the difference of quality was astounding to me in that very first print when I printed the GoPro case for my camera. So, nevertheless, guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. Leave some comments below, suggestions and things you may want to talk about in this video, or your own experiences with Simplify3d or the Makerbot Desktop software. I'm not saying the Makerbot Desktop software is bad, guys. It's just, for me, the Simplify3d works better. Alright guys, appreciate y'all and you have a good day.